Welcome to the podcast for Brain and Cortland in the morning on 98.1 K-Hawk.
Cedar Rapids, number one for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk. Austin, that's Dasha. Good morning. It's Brain and Cortland. Welcome into a Thursday.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to another day where temperatures are warmer than they should be because, folks, it's almost the middle of October.
Yeah, what is happening? It feels great in the morning. Like I walked outside and I'm like, ooh, a chill.
Yeah.
But then yesterday I was going to the gym and I thought, this seems like a little much.
It does. And, you know, the trees are turning colors. I think this might be pretty close to the peak weekend for fall colors. Or the beginning of it.
It's 80 today and 84 tomorrow and 75 on Saturday.
Yeah, things cool down Saturday and then Sunday 65, Monday 58. So I guess hang on, cool weather's coming. My daughters have homecoming this weekend.
Oh.
And so they
don't need sweaters over their dresses.
It doesn't look like it. Saturday, partly cloudy and 74, the low that night, 54. So, yeah, they'll be okay. But they should have some beautiful weather for pictures. They're right now trying to figure out where they're going because Carly's, of course, a sophomore. Kaylee's a freshman. They each have their own friend group. And they're, of course, don't want to be seen together at all. And so they're each going separate places for some pictures beforehand.
Okay.
And by the way, neither one of them going with quote-unquote dates. They're going with friend groups, which I think is awesome. So we're trying to now find out what time each one is doing pictures. So Holly and I can either A, go to both together, or B, we're going to have to divide and conquer. And they're
just show you the pictures later.
They're proving to be very unhelpful, Cortland. That's all I'm going to say at this point in time.
You know, when I was in high school, I think that there was one spot that everybody went to take pictures.
Sure.
And it didn't matter what grade you were in, what age you were, who you were with. No matter who you were going with, everybody went to the same place to take their pictures, which made it very convenient for parents.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely hot spots around Cedar Rapids and Marion where kids go. A lot of them will go to Bruce Moore. I know when my son went to prom, he and his friends took some pictures outside.
I see a lot of people in downtown Cedar Rapids taking pictures.
Downtown, there's some really cool spots inside of the Alliant Energy Powerhouse Arena, the lobby area upstairs. Where there's some chandeliers and some stained glass. A lot of people go there. Knoll Ridge Park, very popular. All the parks. So anyway, we'll be somewhere with a group of kids somewhere in Eastern Iowa.
It's going to be great.
Oh, I can't wait. It shouldn't be stressful as parents at all.
No.
And so I was talking to Kaylee last night and I said, plus I'm probably going to have to give you a little money. She goes, what for? I go, oh, I don't know. What, are you going to pay for your dinner on Saturday night with your charm? And she goes,
don't I look cute?
She goes, yeah, good point. So anyway, homecoming weekend for my girls.
2 girls at the same time.
Proving if I had hair, it would all be gray. It's Brain and Cortland and K-Hawk. Cedar Rapids, number one for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk. Lies, lies, lies. That's Morgan Wallen. Good morning. It's Brain and Cortland. And on a Thursday, Cortland back yesterday for the first day from your weekend vacation and wedding in Michigan. And I had asked you yesterday, did you watch anything new?
And I said no because I was overwhelmed with activities. And I didn't even realize that something new had arrived online that I wanted to watch.
Okay.
And so I was scrolling through Netflix last night and I found out that new episodes have been released for Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, yes.
There have been 4 new episodes. And the first one was really interesting, but the second one might have been the best episode of Unsolved Mysteries that I have ever seen.
Okay.
It is about a paranormal investigator who has an entity attached to him now.
What?
Named Becky.
Oh.
And Becky helps him solve paranormal investigations in people's homes. Like Becky will assist him in clearing out demons and other things from people's houses when they're haunted. And I know you're thinking that sounds like a total load of garbage, but they have all of these other professionals on who are like, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. It is so scary and it has changed my perspective on the world and the afterlife. It was so fascinating. I could not take my eyes off the TV. And that's difficult for me because I have ADHD.
So Yeah, we've talked about things like this before, and I'm a skeptic a little bit when it comes to certain things.
No.
But I have also always stated that I'm a firm believer there are many things in this world and beyond that I do not fully understand.
And that you cannot explain.
And that cannot be explained.
And there's nothing
100%.
in this episode that you can explain. Like the people they're interviewing in the episode are saying, I also can't explain this. It does not make sense. So it is the episode My Paranormal Partner. It's episode 2 in volume 5 of Unsolved Mysteries.
I mean,
number 3 is also very interesting. It's about cow mutilations and horse mutilations that have been taking place since the 1970s all over the country. And no one can figure out what is happening to these cows.
Satanic cult. I'm going with satanic cult.
That's, of course, one of the theories, sure. But the other one is aliens. Because the cuts and the parts of the body and the tongues are being cut out of these. It's so beyond weird. So, yeah, I watched those 2 things before I went to bed last night.
Okay. All right. I guess, here's my thing. If an entity is going to be connected to you, at least have it be helpful.
Yeah. Well,
you really can't complain.
He asked her, he said, will you come with me and help me on my journey? And Becky said, yes.
Please, Becky, be more of a helper than a haunter. So.
Well, they said, even if she is like an evil entity, she's still very helpful.
Oh, my God. Hey, speaking of evil, last night I started watching the new documentary, not the series featuring actors portraying the Menendez brothers.
Oh,
but there's a new Netflix documentary. I think it dropped on Monday.
Okay.
Simply called The Menendez Brothers.
I've watched documentaries on them in the past.
Yeah, this is the first one, though, that features interviews with them.
Okay.
From, I believe, just last year. Obviously done over the phone since they're incarcerated and facing life in prison without parole. But so far, very interesting to hear them talking about the fact that they shot their parents and how police at the beginning of the investigation, Cortland, just simply couldn't believe or refused to believe it could be them.
Yeah.
They said at the scene of the crime that night, they both could have been arrested and charged that night if the cops only would have looked at them, checked their hands for gunpowder residue.
Yeah.
And the cops just didn't look at them right away.
It's just such a messy story.
It is on a number of different levels. Anyway, I got tired last night, was falling asleep, and so I stopped it because I wanted to fully invest myself and watch and watch the whole thing. So I'm going to try and finish that sometime this week, but also streaming on Netflix if you're into that.
Yeah, the last episode that I haven't watched yet of Unsolved Mysteries is all about Roswell. So I'm excited to watch that one too.
That one will be great. Brandon Cortland, what we watched at K-Hawk. Cedar Rapids, number 1 for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk. She had me at Heads, Carolina. That's Cole Swindell. Brandon Cortland on a Thursday, which means tomorrow we'll be choosing another winner of Listener Lunch in the month of October, and we'll be back at Mas Margaritas.
Yes, I missed this week, unfortunately, because I was out of town. But that means next week I'm just going to go real hard.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No judgment here. I like trying new things, and I tried a new menu item from Mas Margaritas I'd never had before called the Matador.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed when you look at their menu just because there's so many options and they all sound amazing?
I was looking over the menu with our group this past week,
and that's just the lunch menu.
That's just it. And I'm like, God, there's so many things I know I would enjoy, but yeah, I want to try different things while we're here in October for Listener Lunch. You can face all those difficult decisions with us. Choose anything you want on the menu. Try it for yourself if you win Listener Lunch. And you can get entered by simply entering your info on the 98.1 K-Hawk app. Cedar Rapids, number 1 for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk. That's Dylan Scott. And new truck. It's Brandon Cortland on a Thursday morning. And yesterday we got to try the new burger that has been making news lately. It's being featured at the Riverside Casino and Golf Resort at the 22 and Vine restaurant there. They've named a burger there after Iowa Hawkeye women's basketball star Hannah Stokey.
And it is magical. So Sloppy Joe had written an article about this a few weeks ago when they officially launched the burger. And the folks over at Riverside saw the article and they were like, hey, do you guys want to try a hamburger? And we said, yes, obviously.
Okay. All right. So Matt from Riverside Casino and Golf Resort was nice enough to bring up 3 of these hamburgers, Hann, up to the K-Hawk studios. And that was more than enough because, man, this thing was rich.
Okay, we need to explain to people what is in this burger. It's kind of like a breakfast burger, right?
In a way, yeah. And the way that Matt explained it is the patties that are featured on the burger are a combination. They're 50% breakfast sausage and then 50% ground beef.
Yes, you get 2 patties, then you get bacon jam, melted American cheese, and a fried egg. But the bun is not just a normal bun. It is a French toast caramelized brioche bun. And you can taste the French toast. It was unreal. It
was one of the richest burgers that I have ever tasted.
You couldn't even finish it. I ate the whole thing.
You did. You're a champion.
I was determined. I was trying to be more like Hannah Stuelke.
Yeah, you guys have the same workout routine, and you both love to run up and down the court.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure. Listen, this is fantastic. So thank you to folks at Riverside for bringing them up. We do have a picture of the burger before Joe shoved it into his face yesterday. So I didn't hear him saying too much in his office. It's right next to mine. So we were all quiet eating our hamburgers from Riverside.
I will say it is a little sticky, though.
A little bit.
So you have some napkins handy because I did not.
Maybe a wet wipe. But it is well worth it. So you can get more information. Check out a photo of the hamburger and find out where you can get yours on the 98.1 K-Hawk app. Cedar Rapids #1 for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk. Love you, miss you, mean it. From Luke Bryan. Good morning. It's Brady Cortland. And Spirit Halloween stores have been popping up in locations around the nation for a number of years. They typically will obviously not be year-round stores, but they'll pop up in.
I wish they were year-round.
I know you do. A lot of people probably feel the same way. The one here in Cedar Rapids pops up in
Lindale Mall. Yep, yeah. Former Yonkers location.
But you'll see them appear in vacated Bed Bath & Beyond locations.
They just take over an empty, vacant building for a couple of months, and then they're, out of there.
Well, now we, have something that might be replacing Spirit Halloween stores. This isn't going to be nationwide this year, but I think it's only a matter of time.
I think this is the first year they're going to do it. They'll see how it goes. And then if it goes well, they'll probably turn a bunch of their Spirit Halloween stores into Spirit Christmas stores.
Yes, that's right.
I'm genuinely surprised that they haven't done this yet.
I can't believe it took them this long. But yes. So when we say this isn't going to be nationwide this year, this is pretty limited. Only 10 Spirit Halloween locations will be switching over to become Spirit Christmas stores.
And none of them are in the Midwest, which I think is a mistake. They're all over on the East Coast, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania.
I know. I think this is going to be very, very popular. I mean, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, they're going to turn the stores into basically a Christmas wonderland, and then they're also going to have Santa there.
Yes, inflatables, stocking stuffers, photo ops with Santa, life-sized gingerbread village.
Ooh, I love that.
A place where kids can sit down and do some letter writing to Santa at the North Pole as well.
Will all of the employees be required to dress like elves? That is the question.
If they're not,
missed opportunity.
Spirit, what are you doing? Come on. So once again, only 10 locations this year, but Spirit says this is, quote, a new concept, and we're hopeful it will resonate with our customers. You think? I think it's totally going to.
Who doesn't love a little bit of Christmas? I will say, though, what store was I at the other day? Oh, I was at a Marshall's / Home Goods store.
Okay.
And I was looking through all the Halloween stuff, and I glanced farther down the aisle, and it was like Christmas had exploded.
Sure.
And I said, no, not yet.
Not yet.
Halloween needs its moment, okay?
Let's give Halloween the proper respect that it deserves. Once again, we're talking about this, and I've told you, I think I even talked about it on the air, how this year I've told the girls that once Halloween and fall has kind of run its course, that we're just going to break out the festive Christmas stuff and get the decorations up in the house earlier than we ever have.
Well, you could find some great things if we had a Spirit Christmas around here.
We really could. And as much as I don't like to, poo-poo my favorite holiday of the year, Thanksgiving, I think this is just another occasion where the turkeys are kind of being left behind. Spirit turkey.
Why don't you just put a turkey out year-round and dress it up like people do with those geese on their lawn?
Skeleton turkey. Then I could leave it up for Halloween. Huh?
It would be perfect.
I love it. Anyway, if you think we need to spirit Christmas here in Eastern Iowa and Cedar Rapids, let us know on the K-Hawk app.
Let's start a petition.
The answer is, of course, yes. Yes, we do. It's Braden Cortland on 98.1 K-Hawk.
Life is full of difficult choices. Here's another one. It's This or That Thursday with Brain and Cortland on 98.1 K-Hawk.
Our This or That Thursday, of course, we are in fall. Fall-themed This or That Thursdays continue. Today, we're talking about a couple of delicious options that I think are definitely more popular during this time of year. Both of them apple-themed.
Yeah, we thought we would do some sort of apple pastry or dessert. And so today it is apple pie versus the apple cider donut.
Now listen, one of these is a piece of Americana. There's nothing more American than a slice of homemade apple pie. However, the apple cider donut has stolen my heart and has owned it for quite a while.
You know me, I don't like pie.
You're not a pie gal.
Nope. So this was an easy decision for me. Apple cider donuts. Plus, I had some while I was back home in Michigan this weekend.
Oh, yeah, you did.
From an orchard where they were homemade, but I'm not going to tell you how many I ate because it's shameful.
There's no judgment here. So
yes,
we will oftentimes...
Since when?
It's silent judgment. Does that mean warn you? We will oftentimes go up and hit the apple orchards up in Gays Mills, Wisconsin, and they have got a place, one of the orchards up there, I think it's Sunrise, if I'm not mistaken, orchards.
Yes, because you brought me back one,
yes,
and it was magnificent.
And they make them fresh. You sit there and you watch them come off a conveyor belt, and a little tear runs down my face, because that is apple cider donut heaven.
It is. Allen's Orchard in Marion has been given a shout out by Gail, who said that they have the best ones. I also enjoy the ones from Wilson's Orchard in Iowa City.
Yep.
Very good.
A couple of great local options. Now listen, I grew up, my mom made homemade apple pie from time to time, and I always remember my dad would have a piece of homemade apple pie, and he would have it with a slice of cheddar cheese.
Gross.
I don't understand it either.
I'll just take the slice of cheddar cheese.
Courtland's like,
throw the pie in the trash.
You can have the pie, I'll take the cheese, and then we'll all get along just fine. So go to the K-Hawk Facebook page this morning. Like for apple pie, love for those apple cider donuts, and we'll see if this thing's even close.
I'm sorry, but the donut just looks so beautiful.
It's staring right at us.
Right now, it's not close at all.
No, it's not.
Right now, apple pie is dominating, but I think the donut people are out there.
Oh, yeah, really, apple pie is dominating. I thought the donuts would have it today, but maybe not. All right, it's a This or That Thursday. It's Braden Cortland on 98.1 K-Hawk. Cedar Rapids #1 for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk with Jelly Roll and I Am Not Okay. Good morning, it's Braden Cortland. Cortland not okay yesterday after seeing something a little bit odd on the streets of downtown Cedar Rapids.
So here's the deal. I was walking into the gym last night. It was right around, 5:45. And I happened to glance out onto 3rd Avenue where my gym is located. And I saw a guy in a tractor.
Not unusual. It is harvest season, Cortland, although I will admit tractor in downtown Cedar Rapids is a bit odd.
A little bit odd. But the tractor driving down the street was not the most confusing thing.
Okay. What was so odd about it?
The guy was dressed as Michael Myers.
Okay, that does add a little bit of intrigue.
I glanced up and I saw it. And then it took me a couple of seconds. And then I looked up again. And I looked at the person next to me who was also walking in. And I'm like, are you seeing this? Like, I thought maybe I was imagining it.
Fever dream.
And it happened so quickly that I didn't snap a picture. And I'm so mad at myself that I didn't. But when I walked into the gym, a bunch of people were up against the glass window looking out thinking the same thing. What is happening?
Yeah. Okay, so
I was unaware that Michael Myers drove a tractor.
Who knows? Who knew that the old Myers farm is just somewhere near Cedar Rapids?
I was just so confused.
If anybody else listening saw Michael Myers driving, what color was the tractor, by the way?
I think it was green.
Okay, so it was a John
I don't know.
Deere.
I was distracted by the guy dressed as Michael Myers.
Sorry, but an unfair question. If anybody else saw Michael Myers on a John Deere yesterday afternoon or evening, let us know.
I posted about it on Facebook, and I said, did anybody else see a guy dressed as Michael Myers driving around Cedar Rapids on a tractor last night? And the guy said, nope, he's only after you.
Okay. Actually, maybe they're going to be filming a new movie. It's called Halloween, The Harvest.
Halloween 30, Cedar Rapids.
Where the only thing
They were
scarier than Michael Myers is the price of corn. That was my really bad radio trailer. I'm sorry.
That was really bad.
If
Is
there was-
that your best scream?
if
Your
that
best
was-
horror movie scream?
If there was one farmer who found that funny out there, then my day has been made. I don't know. I don't have a horror. You don't want to hear me try and scream for real like I'm being murdered, right?
I think that would be hilarious. Like, give us your best scream queen scream.
I'm trying to think if I can go there.
Do you need me to scare you first?
No, I don't. I don't know if I don't want to scream like that.
Ooh, you have 2 girls in high school.
No! That's just dad angst. That wasn't really a horror scream. So let us know if you saw Michael Myers on a tractor.
Seriously.
That's real.
Please tell me I'm not the only person who saw this. Otherwise, I think I need to check myself in somewhere.
It's Braden Cortland on 98.1 K-Hawk. Cedar Rapids #1 for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk. And buy me a vote from Chris Jansen, Braden Cortland. Good morning. Well, yesterday, the final member of our family got her permit and is now able to drive. And that would be Kaylee. Kaylee turned 14 earlier this year. Finally got her permit yesterday.
How do you feel?
Scared, old, apprehensive, nervous. Because it's, I think Holly would admit this if she were able to talk right now, that she does not do great being in the car with our kids, teaching them how to drive. I was the one that was kind of responsible for that. Mm-hmm. I'm a little calmer. I'm a little able to stay, keep them focused, and she's not. And that's fine. We're not all built like that. But Kaylee kind of scares me.
Well,
a little bit.
You were telling me before, when Chase started driving, you were a little bit nervous.
A little bit.
When Carly started driving, you were like, she's got this.
Yeah.
She's pretty responsible. But when Kaylee started driving, you did not sound as confident.
No, and because Carly was a really decent driver right away, and she's a very, very, I consider her to be a very good teenage driver right now. I'm very comfortable going.
Keyword is teenage.
Yes.
Good teenage driver. There's a gal at my gym. She's 17, and she tries to tell me all the time she's a great driver.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you might be good for your age.
Sure.
But there's no way you're a great driver.
You just don't have the experience of driving in certain situations yet.
You have to have that.
And so Kaylee just doesn't have hardly any experience. And so yesterday she got done with volleyball practice, and of course she's like, hey, I go to pick her up at the high school. She's like, move over. I'm driving home. And I went, okay. And so she did pretty good driving home. I did not have her try a roundabout. We live in Marion, so roundabout's kind of a way of life. And so it was kind of busy when we were coming home. It was between 5 and 6. And so I'm like, I'm not going to have her navigate a roundabout right now. But she did pretty good going home.
The earlier you navigate a roundabout, the better, because I feel like there's so many adults out there who don't know what they're doing.
Oh, my God, I know. To just throw her into that mess? Hey, I know you're not a great driver, but guess what? Neither are any of these older people driving. So anyway, she did pretty good coming home. The key word or the phrase that I talked to her about when we got home was brake check. You got to go a little easier on the brakes there. There were several moments on the way home where I was like,
do you ever drive somebody else's car and it's like a learning curve when you have to use their brakes? You're like, oh God, these brakes are way better than in my car.
Yeah, well, no, each car is different. Some are a little more sensitive than others. And in the car we were driving yesterday, they were a little sensitive, a little touchy. You got to get used to that.
So when is she getting her own car?
Stop talking about. I'm going to turn your microphone off. No, and listen, the other thing too is, eventually this is just one more teen driver I have to add to our insurance policy.
Which is always very reasonable and inexpensive.
If there's anything, Cortland, I've discovered in insuring multiple teen drivers, is that insurance companies
they're very trusting.
Have your bottom line at heart. Oh, it's a frickin' mess, I'll tell you. But I don't have to add her right now because she's only 14. you don't have to add them to your insurance policy.
So where can you drive when you're 14 then?
So when you're 14 and you just have your learner's permit, you got to be in the vehicle with mom or dad or another family member who is at least 21 years of age or older, or a non-family member who is 25 or older with written parental consent. Yeah, I had all that recited to me yesterday at the DOT.
It's very complicated.
A little bit. And so, of course, then she will take driver's ed. Eventually, you have to have your learner's permit for 6 months. Then you take driver's ed.
It's wild to me that they give you your permit before you take driver's ed. That's so strange to me.
Well, I mean, you can't drive by yourself with a permit. You're with somebody else all the time.
It's still crazy to me.
It's a little strange. But the people you drive with, you're most likely your parents. They're your first kind of driver's ed teachers.
So hopefully your parents are good drivers.
Yeah, or at least one of them, the one in the car with you most of the time. Hello. So, watch out on the roadways. Kaylee's driving.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's Brandon Cortland on 98.1 K-Hawk. Cedar Rapids #1 for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk. Miles on it. That's Kane Brown. Good morning. It's Brandon Cortland. And we are, a little over half an hour away from your very first $30,000 K-Hawk cash cow code of the day.
So basically, we are going to say a code, and then you're going to open up your K-Hawk app, and you're going to click that win $30,000 button right there on the homepage. Mm-hmm. Then you enter the code.
Yeah.
And then you could win $30,000.
You sit back and you let the money roll in.
It's really so easy. And we give you codes all day long. So whenever you hear one, just pop open your app real quick.
Yep. Doesn't matter where you're at. Other than driving, don't do it while you're driving.
Yeah, please don't do it while you're driving.
Yeah, don't risk your safety.
Wait till you get to your destination.
Please. We want you to win, but we want you to play safely. So, hey, you're running out of chances, too, to play the cash cow because only a couple days left.
I know.
It's gone by It's gone by so fast, hasn't it?
It really has.
The more codes you enter, the better your odds of winning. Your first one coming up at 8:20. Get the K-Hawk app downloaded and ready to go with the cash cow on 98.1 K-Hawk.
Good, bad, or otherwise. Here's Brain and Cortland with Country Quickies on 98.1 K-Hawk.
Well, we're leading things off with a bit of a twist and new development in the Garth Brooks sexual assault case. Garth named his accuser in an amended complaint filed in Mississippi federal court yesterday. As a result, his accuser's legal team says they are now seeking maximum sanctions against Garth immediately. Many publications, including our website and app, not releasing the accuser's name. Obviously,
a lot of the stories have removed the name.
Yes. Her legal team's not being nice to Garth, saying, quote, out of spite and to punish, he publicly named the victim of an assault. Garth, of course, saying that if he has to be publicly going through this, then his accuser should too. Yeah, it's going to be a long and ugly battle between these two sides, I have a feeling.
I think he said on his Inside Studio G that it could take 2 years to get this all figured out.
Yep. So get ready for more he said, she said.
So earlier this week, Luke Combs and Eric Church announced a massive benefit concert to support Hurricane Helene relief efforts. It's called Concert for Carolina, and it will take place on Saturday, October 26th at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Of course, Luke and Eric are Western North Carolina natives, so they are going to be headlining, and so will Billy Strings and James Taylor. But yesterday, they announced some additional artists for the lineup, including Sheryl Crow, Keith Urban, and Bailey Zimmerman. And it still says that more are to be announced.
Yeah.
Tickets for that show are going to go on sale today at 10 a.m., and all proceeds from the event will be split between Eric's Chief Cares Foundation and Samaritan's Purse, Manna Food Bank, and Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina. So tickets, once again, on sale today. And all that money is going towards hurricane relief, which is amazing.
Speaking of hurricane relief, another star you may have heard of, her name is Taylor Swift, is donating money to relief efforts from both Hurricane Helene and, of course, Hurricane Milton, which devastated Florida yesterday and overnight. Taylor donating $5 million, and that will go directly to the organization Feeding America. They put out the statement saying, quote, we're grateful to Taylor Swift for her generous $5 million donation to Hurricane Helene and Milton relief efforts. Her contribution will help communities rebuild and recover, providing essential food, clean water, and supplies. So Taylor stepping up and donating. She's certainly able to. And
a hefty donation.
That is very nice. Thank you, Taylor.
And finally, Gabby Barrett is set to release her first song to Christian radio. Gabby announced the news ahead of the 55th annual GMA Dove Awards last week. She'll release Jesus on a Train to Christian radio stations on October 14th. Several country artists have found success on Christian radio charts, but few have made a full-time commitment to both genres. So the question is Gabby going to be leaving country music entirely? Probably not. She said, quote, I think Ann Wilson's a good example of balancing that seesaw of country and Christian. I've been in country music for 6-7 years now, and I love it so much. I fell in love with country music, but being a Christian is my identity. My identity is in Jesus, and so that changes everything.
I think out of all the musical genres, other than, just solely Christian music, I think country stars have often released and
Carrie
recorded
Underwood
songs.
has had some success.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Luke Bryan has a very religious song on his latest album. So, I think there's room to do both.
You can do
Gabby,
both.
Those are your country quickies this morning. It's Braden Cortland on 98.1 K-Hawk. Country 98.1 K-Hawk. Austin from Dasha. Braden Cortland watching the state of Florida wake up this morning and discovering the effects of Hurricane Milton, which made landfall a little earlier than they expected, still after dark last night, Eastern time down in Florida, along the west coast near Tampa and St. Pete. And it was a Category 3 storm when it made landfall. But still, that's wind gusts of 120 miles per hour, storm surge of up to 15 feet in some areas, and torrential rainfall. St. Pete, Florida had 17 inches of rain last night.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Considering we've had no rain.
0 rain for over a month.
When's the last time you mowed your lawn? I can't even remember.
Last week, and it was mostly dust.
My grass is dead.
They've had 77 inches of rain in Florida this year.
That's insane.
It's so much. This is, of course, the third hurricane this year that has made landfall in or near Florida. They just got hit by Helene.
Just
and now
back to back like that.
Now they're dealing with the after effects of Milton. Reports of over 3 million people without power in Florida.
Yeah, but I bet there's a lot of people who are going to be traveling down to Florida to help out.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
You know how so many people came up here when we had the derecho. I bet lots of people are going to be going down there.
Some startling images coming out of Florida, and perhaps one of the starkest reminders of the power of a hurricane in St. Pete, where the Tampa Bay Rays play, Major League Baseball. The tarp roof has been torn off of their stadium. It's just gone. It's in tatters.
I know a girl that I went to high school with. We are friends on Facebook. And she and her husband and their kids just closed on their house like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, my God.
And they had to make the decision to evacuate yesterday.
So Holly's aunt lives near Cocoa Beach and Merritt Island, which is towards the eastern side of Florida. It looks like they got hit with lots of rain, high winds, but not necessarily the full force of Milton when it made landfall. But we haven't had contact with them. I'm sure we'll call them, make sure they're okay. Later on today, Milton making its way out into the Atlantic. One of the other stories, I don't know if you've seen this online, but as rescue crews were going out and trying to get people to evacuate and leave their homes, police found a dog that had been tied up to a light pole and just left there. And so police obviously rescued the dog.
Oh, my God.
And at a press conference yesterday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis lit the owners of that dog up on national television.
Yeah.
And said, trust me, the state of Florida has plenty of strong laws against animal cruelty, and we're going to find out who left that dog there. I mean, what a trash move. I mean, come on, man.
That makes me so angry.
Anyway, the dog has been rescued. It is safe. And
I hope he finds a good home.
I hope he
finds
does.
a better home than the one he had before.
That's a straight up trash move. So once again, the recovery efforts from Helene going on, and now we're going to have to deal with Milton.
And there are lots of places you can donate to as well.
Yes. And please check on your relatives and your friends. Like you said, we all know people who are living down there or have moved down there or vacation down there. So please make sure they're okay this morning. It's Brady and Cortland on 98.1 K-Hawk.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is going to be tough. Choose wisely on This or That Thursday from 98.1 K-Hawk.
Okay, so a fall-themed This or That Thursday, a couple of fall favorites as far as desserts go.
Apple desserts.
Mm-hmm.
It's the apple pie versus the apple cider donut. We did have somebody in the comments say they've never heard of an apple cider donut.
Whoa!
I feel so sad for you.
It's time to take the blinders off and start living life.
We were talking about great places you can get them. You can go to Wilson's Orchard in Iowa City, Allen's Orchard in Marion. I know a lot of Hy-Vees in the area sell locally made donuts and cider.
I think that apple cider donuts have become much more mainstream in the last 5 to 10 years.
See, I never knew them as apple cider donuts. I just always called them cinnamon donuts.
Okay.
But they're delicious.
First ones I ever had, Sunrise Orchards, Gays Mills, Wisconsin. Life-changing.
Well, it wasn't really all that close today.
Yeah, I guess, it's hard to beat something that is a piece of Americana. And that would be the apple pie, more than doubling the number of votes for apple cider donuts. I really thought this was going to be closer.
I did too, but it wasn't. So you guys can have your apple pie. Braden and I will take all the apple cider donuts. Does that not sound amazing right now? I already ate 4 of them this week.
I would take either one. And unlike my father, who enjoys a slice of cheddar cheese with his apple pie, give me a nice scoop of vanilla on top, and I'll be just fine.
I want to take an apple cider donut and put a scoop of ice cream on top of that.
Right in the middle, right in the hole.
And then maybe drizzle some caramel on it.
Yep. We could do that.
It sounds so good.
Unhealthy thoughts with Brady and Cortland. Thanks for all the votes on a This or That Thursday. Brady and Cortland on 98.1 K-Hawk. Cedar Rapids #1 for New Country and your all-time favorites on a Throwback Thursday. John Michael Montgomery and Be My Baby Tonight.
I love hearing you sing that.
Correctly or incorrectly?
A little bit of both.
That's
you
what
got
happens.
Some lines and then some you're like, could
you if you wanna? Would you?
I would love for somebody to call and do that for us.
Okay.
Like all the way through. You've got the lyrics down. You've got the beat down. I want to be impressed.
Okay. I bet there's somebody out there listening right now.
I bet there's more than one person.
So that song released, by the way, in 1994.
I was 3 years old.
Cortland was jamming to her toddler tunes at the age of 3.
I was watching Sesame Street and Barney.
Okay. I was playing that song on country radio. But not this station, actually. In 1994, I think I was still working for that little small station in Anamosa.
Oh, yeah.
KLEH.
Was it a country station?
It was.
So you've never not worked in country music.
There you have it. I'm ill-skilled and ill-prepared to do anything else. So, which is why I'm pretty good at reading numbers. And the number you want to know right now, I'm guessing, is the latest $30,000 K-Hawk cash cow code.
Yeah, let's just get to the code.
Okay, 561.
561.
Could you enter the code on the K-Hawk app like John Michael? That didn't go so well. 561.
That's really bad.
That was awful. I'm sorry. 561. Enter that now on the K-Hawk app. You could win $30,000, and that would help you forget what this break just sounded like.
Maybe.
Good luck. Jess has your next code coming up next hour on K-Hawk. Cedar Rapids #1 for New Country, 98.1 K-Hawk. Carly Pearson, Truck on Fire. Braden and Cortland wrapping it up here on a Thursday morning.
Woo, yeah.
We're done. I'm
all off this week.
Yeah, well, when you start on a Wednesday, it's hard to be, on.
I know. But it feels like I've been here all week, even though I've only been here 1.5 days.
Hey, the good news is tomorrow's Friday.
It is.
Yeah, let's do it.
You doing anything this weekend?
It's homecoming weekend for the Marion Independent School District, so we're going to go to the game on Friday night. Of course, the girls are going to the homecoming dance on Saturday, so we'll have pictures.
I can't wait to see them. Do they look so grown up?
It's scary. I mean, it's just, it's going to be a lot for me to process. So just be prepared.
There goes my life.
I remember.
There goes. No.
I remember going to a Kenny Chesney concert years ago. Chase was just a newborn.
And just sobbing to that song.
And it was the first Kenny show that I had been to where he sang that song. And so Holly was still at home. I went to the show with her brother, Chaz, up at the Unidome, and he sang that song, and I went, oh, God. It's all coming. It's so real.
Dude, I don't even have kids, and I sobbed when he sang that one.
Man. All right. Let's brighten the mood here with a dad joke to get us out on a Thursday.
Okay, Brain. What do turkeys eat for dessert?
What do turkeys eat for dessert? Cobbler?
Peach gobbler.
Right. There we go. I was on the right track, so to speak.
Gobbler.
Are you laughing because that was accurate or because it was horrible?
I'm just laughing.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take that as a win.
Just a lot of things that you've said and done in the past hour have been very confusing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I hope to do better tomorrow, i.e. more of the same. Back tomorrow at 5. Until then, so long.